Hello everyone. Bonjour. Salut. Bienvenue Nuit de Montréal. Welcome to Montreal by Night. Tonight's scene is the introduction of a new character to the City of Dark Miracles. We introduce Natalia Belenko, Toreador Antitribu, who's come to the city to, well, this city is known to be a Sabbat stronghold, a mecca, as it were, for the Sword of Cain. A place where some of the more spiritual, the more enlightened of Cain's chosen come to pay homage to their Dark Father and to learn more about themselves and the sect's history. It's also a place where crusades are typically organized, and that's where we shall start the scene as Natalia Belenko enters into the outskirts of Montreal. And first question I'd like to ask is, where exactly does Natalia head towards once she enters into the city proper?
Natalia is driving it's a Toyota pickup. It's a tourist truck, sort of say. It's very, very reliable, not too economical gas-wise, but she doesn't seem to have much more than just a couple of bags in her car. She will drive in and she doesn't know much. She's very, very young, and she doesn't have really a lot of people she knows in the what shall we say, community. But she's gotten by. She's survived for quite some time alone, and this does not have seemed to change much since she's been embraced. The people she knew, the people she kept close to, were not strong enough. They were killed off. She was chosen. She was strong. She made it this far. And now she's gotten here because, well, she has to start taking. She knows she's met people who are very, very, very delicate, or what should we say, powerful, or well, fascinating in a certain way, because they are the pinnacle of what she has become. And sooner or later, she will have to know just what this means in earnest. And Montreal seems to be one of the places that really will help her understand some of these things.
Mm-hmm. Okay. To give you a bit of a head start, or to give you some place to, some direction to decide, could you give us an intelligence plus Sabbat law check? Just to give you some leads.
And that was start with 2 in Sabbat law, yes?
Yep.
Wow. If creative counts, then I have 1 success.
I'm not quite sure how creative would apply to this.
All right.
But don't worry, I'll let you redo something. I'll let you redo that later. Just be thankful it wasn't a botch. Okay, so yeah, as she was like driving into Montreal, she was trying to think, you know, what exactly do I know about this place? What do I remember? And it was just she was just drawing up a blank, pretty much. Right. Okay.
She's furiously smoking, by the way. She's wearing her leather jackets. Looks like a punker. Piercings, okay. Black hair.
All right. If she's smoking, I'm going to need a courage check. Difficulty 3. Because, you know, fire.
I can do that. Now let me.
Sorry, that just happens way too often in quite a lot of venues, and I just.
Yeah. I failed.
Yes, you spit the cigarette out.
Wow, the ones really love me tonight.
Yeah. Well, you're getting them out of the way, so you know.
Yeah, that's true. But
Yeah, for some bizarre
Natalia
reason,
just goes,
you try and
fuck, and throws it out. And she looks at the pack, is about to take another one up to smoke. She just curses and then just puts it away again.
Anyway, just to give you a general outline of what the city looks like. As you probably would already notice heading into Montreal, this city's architecture is completely different to anything that Natalia might have seen in, seen in America or even in, the old country. All of the buildings, the older buildings, built to them, it's actually more like classical French design. You have Art Deco studio apartments. You have, majority of the skyline is situated in downtown Montreal. And surrounding that, there is these very loosely connected different districts, each of which have they have a very varied demographic, but splitting between English-speaking Anglophones and French-speaking Francophones. It's quite easy to determine which districts are, majority Francophone due to the road signs. The French-speaking districts tend to have road signs which are written in French, but they have like this very small, like English text underneath. Whilst the Anglophone districts, they tend to have English signs and things in it. And she probably might overhear people speaking in both English and in French, or even languages together. For example, you'd have someone say something, in Quebec. It's not all that different. It's not all that unlikely for someone to say something along the lines of, "Comme du flat tire" in anglais. Actually using an English word in the middle of a sentence and assuming that it is actually French. Yeah, she's probably heard the French language before, but it's nothing like this. The way that they use English-style R's instead of rolling them, for example. So she probably does have the expression on her face like she has in the picture right now when she hears it.
Pretty much. She's just like, what? Oh. She does drive around for a while. Looks around. Maybe she's also checking out. Maybe there's a very, very cheap place you can rent or something.
Yeah, there's a lot of motels around the place. Some of the cheaper ones are actually located in Le Plateau, or the Plateau, which is a French-speaking district. There's also various places that you can find in St. Catherine Street, which is basically the red light district of Montreal. It's actually kind of weird, both in real life and in the sense of the game, in the degree that it has, the strip of St. Catherine Street is basically you basically have like nightclub, church, shop, nightclub, shop, strip club, church, strip club, in kind of like that very schizophrenic order. In fact, that's another thing that you'd notice. There is a lot of chapels and churches in the city.
It's not like she avoids them, but seems unimpressed if one were to look at him when she's driving past them. But yeah, the like scummier part of town where things are very cheap, she'll probably find an apartment somewhere. Well, begin to think of that.
Now let's see if we can redo the intelligence savant law check to see
What?
if we can
botch this.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, actually, no.
That's not a botch. That is very good. Okay, with 3 successes, you suddenly start to think about what you remember being told about this place. And you actually remember a fair bit. You remember that this place is unique in the sense that it has what's rumored to be called, well, what is said to be called a Black Cathedral, which, from what you've been told, there's only 3 of them in the world. One of which is located in Bucharest, Romania, another one in Mexico City, Mexico. A Black Cathedral is supposedly said to be kind of like a monument to the Sabbat. You know, something that was built to venerate Cain and the cause of the Sabbat. It's also, the city is also home to an Archbishop Boswell, who gained their position not all that long ago. They'd also know that the city is has a very high, well, it has the presence of various paths of enlightenment, hierophants, notable scholars. The Cathari are especially, a school of thought for the Cathari is present in the city, though you can't remember exactly where. But you do know, you would also know that there is rumored to have been an individual by the name of the Grand Master here. And there's also rumors of the presence of the Black Hand, the Sabbat Inquisition.
Have I heard anything like locally about? I know out of character that there is rumors of a growing crusade is forming.
Yeah, you would probably have heard that, some people are being called in to the city to make preparations for a crusade. Though you haven't heard exactly. You haven't heard anything substantiating these rumors, and you don't know if they are true, what the target would be. At least not until you start asking questions to people actually in the city.
Well, I don't have any direct contacts or any. She doesn't have any direct contacts or any direct people she can go to, but what she's going to do is she's going to find a cheap motel, and then she is going to use their connection, and she is going to begin to research and begin to find out stuff locally about which part of the city might be more expected to be, what shall we say, a place to meet fellow sect members.
Okay. Righty. I would say make this an intelligence plus. Because you know what you're looking for, I'm going to reduce the difficulty to 5.
Mm-hmm. And intelligence with what?
Sabbat law. Because you know what the Sabbat law is search for. Okay, 2 successes. All right, from what you can tell on your internet searches, number 1, there's apparently a spike in HIV cases, rumored to have started due to, the supposed bloodletting culture. A lot of the clubs in St. Catherine Street have, made it an official policy that if anyone is caught doing, this bloodletting in their club, they are banned permanently. Mm-hmm. Which, considering what Cainites kind of feed on blood, they kind of prefer that people aren't, prone to become vectors for plagues like that. Mm-hmm. You'd also know that in Point St. Charles there is a curfew at the moment due to a sudden explosion of violence which culminated in the discovery of a mass grave. The place is, pretty much under lockdown after the sun goes down over the horizon up until like the wee hours of the morning. Sorry, hang on a second. Sorry about that. Right, where was I? Oh, yes. You would also kind of know that there has been like sporadic, murders and other stupendously unnice events going dotted around the city. Beyond that, though, if you had to hazard a guess, St. Catherine Street does look to be the rack I mean, from what you know and from what you've experienced in other cities, it makes more sense that St. Catherine Street, at least from what you've already seen, that it would have to be kind of a communal feeding grounds for most of the rank and file of the Sabbat.
All right. When she's done searching, she will go to St. Catherine Street and find some of the bars. And is just going to go and see if there's anyone that, well, she's going to see if there's someone that might share her appetites, or maybe she can have a snack. Who knows?
Okay. I'm just changing the overlay thing because I love this picture. Yes. Well, guess what? You, my good friend, are in luck. It's when you're searching. Well, give us a quick hunting roll whilst I just try to find the exact overlay that I'm searching for. This is in the rack, so it will be at a ridiculously low difficulty. Well, how exactly are you?
Natalia is, what should we say, fairly, due to her upbringing, due to certain things, she's more direct and, well, some would say brute forcing it or blunt than most females. She will go over and more or less just barge in. Sometimes she will actively push out of the women out of the way and just start really close dancing with some gent. And, well, she will suddenly, well, that tends to get people, some horny guys in the mood. So that helps.
Okay, and all right, what are we rolling for this one?
And I rolled appearance subterfuge, but I can
No,
re-roll it.
that's perfectly fine. All right, so you're able to find some place to find someone to feed on. They apparently do enjoy the idea of a very aggressive woman, and who knows, they're also maybe into that scene because, St. Catherine Street has quite a lot of these, alternative clubs, so it wouldn't be too difficult for you to find one suiting to your taste, and to just find someone who would be willing to partake of their vitae, and yeah. It's not all that. I'll forgo the roles or any.
I think you cut out there.
Can you hear me properly now?
There we go.
Okay. Right. Where did I get cut off at?
Something about the roles properly and then cut off.
Yeah. I'll let you forego any of the roles that you would do to notice this, just for the sake of expediency. But
and I'll fail it. No, I'm kidding.
Well, I'm not going to say anything. But it's as you're dancing, after you've fed and you start looking through the club, that you happen to notice this rather striking-looking young lady. She's got to be at least in her early 20s, mid-20s at the latest. She's wearing this rather tight-looking corset type thing. It blends in perfectly with everyone here, but she stands out in the sense of her silver-colored hair, which is obviously some sort of dye job, you think. But the way that she is so graceful around everyone, and the way that she seems to have someone like Putty, this man. She draws him into a corner, and well, she's very subtle about this. It's obviously she's very practiced, but you can tell that she is feeding on them. It's after that she's fed on them and left them in the corner to wallow in the ecstasy of the dark kiss, that she she decides to, there's like loads of these like different mirrors and everything like that, so she decides to just adjust her rather than going into the bathroom like anyone else. She decides to do this stuff in public, just like adjust any of the what makeup she has on. just nothing to it. It's just like a little slapdash type thing, just to make sure nothing is disturbed, as it were.
Natalia won't go directly up to her. She'll just look at her from a distance to start with.
Well, she looks kind of like this. When you actually look closer, she does have a few tattoos on the side on her right arm.
Natalia just nods to herself and just looks at her and just she'll go up and she'll just say, "Hey, good evening. You doing all right?"
And the lady looks towards you. Yes, I am. I'm sorry, when you notice that she does kind of like, she narrows her eyes a little bit towards you. Where are you from?
I think we might be from, quite clear near this same place.
Ruskivia? Which obviously you would understand as being, Russian.
Yes, and she'll respond in Russian. It's southern, western part. It's close to Ukraine, but it's Russian. And she'll just say that. And in Russian, she'll just say, I didn't expect to see many Russians. Sorry. I did not expect to see many Russians here, but I suppose I'm lucky tonight.
And the lady responds in fluent Russian as well. You can probably tell that her accent, it seems to dictate that she's probably from around the city of St. Petersburg, or
more northern.
Yes, yeah, she's more of a northerner. Yes, there is a few Russian-speaking people here, but I have not met many of them. I'm sorry. My name is Yulia Talina.
Yeah, good to meet you. So you had the meal back there. Are you? Do you know anyone else around here? If the,
I think we should be. And it looks like she goes to a purse, and she looks like she's trying to find something, and eventually she pulls out a purple, this like gaudy-looking purple ring. And could you do me another intelligence about law? That seems to be the role of the scene thus far.
and no.
We knew that was coming eventually. Purple,
Yeah.
purple. What the fuck? She's bringing out a gaudy purple ring for? That's stupid. Is she trying to make a proposition to you or something? What the fuck?
This is probably some kinky thing that, again, I'll put this. What? This is some kinky thing that's local. Natalia just looks at it, just if it's a bad time, it's quite alright. I'll find some else. It's quite alright. I'm looking for the mental, dental impaired. The people who go to the special dentist.
And Yulia just looks very confused. I thought I was supposed to, to confirm, or to show allegiance or something. She just looks really honest. She looks honest to God. Or you wouldn't say that she looks terrified, but she looks more confused. It's like sort of like she's split in between, confusion and, it's like, oh my God, was I supposed to do this?
Natalia, after a couple of seconds, she looks at her and just, are you as new to me? Are you new to this as me? I'm quite young. So.
Yes. I was only given the embrace a year ago.
Well, I'm happy you were given it. She looks at her again. What were you supposed to do?
Sorry, I just thought I was supposed to show purple to anyone to say, I am me. I am, you know.
I don't. Uh, Maybe I've forgotten. I don't know. Do you know anyone else around town?
Um, there's a few people. Um, the Grandmaster. I know of a few other, um, K-Knights who have come and gone. Uh, I know I've met the Archbishop, um, and I've also heard of the widows, but I've not met them personally. Uh, I think they have a club um, nearby. I
Oh,
think it,
also on the strip here, or
yes, on the strip here. They are,
ah,
you know, I'm told they are Cathari, but I'm not allowed to go see them. Not yet, I don't think.
oh, she looks a bit confused at that. Not allowed to? I thought. uh, Okay. Well, I
I
wouldn't.
don't, like I said, I've only been embraced a year ago, and a lot of things I don't understand, and I don't want to upset other people.
That will happen regardless. Well, from my experience, no matter if you're cattle or us, but oh well. You'll offend people in any way. But yeah, well, it's just a matter of saying it either effectively or politely enough for them to fuck off. It's the only real difference.
Okay. Um. Uh. Like I said, if you want to go see the widows, they are in the heart in this. I think it's called St. Catherine Street, but I've not been there.
Why don't the two of us go there now? Come on, it'll be fun.
Mm. Shall we do just one last social roll? I think a manipulation, empathy, or subterfuge would be good for this one.
I will roll manipulation subterfuge.
Good boy.
Damn it!
Yeah, Yulia looks. She looks very reluctant. She's like, I really shouldn't.
No, come on, it will be fun.
No, I don't want. I don't want to upset the Grandmaster.
Did he tell you specifically you can't go?
They're a she, but yes, they said don't go there until, you know, you are you are ready. Um,
Oh, so it's okay. Fair. Well, then it's not. Then it's more a suggestion, right?
yes, but the Grandmaster is. I mean, they are very smart. They are no things which not a lot of other K-Knights know. That's why they are being called the Grandmaster.
Yeah. Okay. I suppose. Well, do you have the phone number
For
yourself?
oh yes, and she like takes out her phone, and you can tell just by looking at this phone that well, it seems to like fit her own theme. In fact, now that you actually look at it, she does look a little bit ridiculous. OOC stereotype flaw.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I should really put that on this overlay at some point.
No,
But
no, no. It's fine.
yeah, she does give you the phone number.
Well, be in touch, and she will notice that Natalia puts in the number. She doesn't actually put it into a phone, she puts it into a notebook. Just writes it in. For whatever reason, she might not know, but she just puts the notebook back in her bag and just said, "You sure you're not coming along? I'm going to check this place out, but you
Oh,
sure?"
no, I don't. No, I really shouldn't. It's like I say, if the Grandmaster heard that I did, I don't want to get shouted at. No.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Well, it's been nice knowing you. I need to find. Well, can you maybe you can bring me in contact with, I don't know, the bishop or someone who knows where he is?
I could ask the Grandmaster, and if they could help, I think that they would. Yes.
I'd like to meet them.
Okay, if I have if I have a contact number, I can give it to them, and they give it to.
Sure.
And Yulia will take the number that you give her, and
Natalia just then takes out another cigarette. She doesn't light it yet. She just has it in her mouth. Gets out and will look for this other club. And this time she is able to light the cigarette and smoke it.
Mm-hmm. Right. Just to transition the place over, because Yulia did tell you what the club's name was. It takes you a little while to find it. You know, you have to use Google Maps a little bit, but eventually you find this place called the Heart. And essentially, all it looks like on the outside, the entrance is basically located in this alleyway. And you see this neon sign, you know, above the entrance, which just simply says the Heart, and it seems to like pulsate in sync with the music. You know, this semi-trance music, which is like playing in the inside, and there's this big like reinforced steel door with no like handle on the outside, with like this red leather covering on the front of it, and all you can see is like this slidey hole on, you know, like a peephole on top.
Mm. So I will go over and see if there's a doorbell or something, or else she'll just knock.
Okay. You don't find any doorbell or anything, but you know, it's easy enough just to knock on the door. You know, you hear this heavy bang, bang, bang when you hit on the steel, and a few seconds later, the slidey door opens up, and you see this beady set of light grey eyes looking on the other side. And at first, the voice responds in French, "Quoi?"
Do you speak English?
Yeah, I speak English. What do you want?
I'm here to see the owners.
Right. You got any ID? Would you like to redo that intelligence savant law check? I know it's going to be the most cursed roll that we're going to have, but
Wow, it really hates me today.
yeah, it really.
Wow.
All right, fuck it. I'm gonna reduce the difficulty. You get one success. He wants to see something purple, because purple is the color of the Sabbat, well, at least as far as the elders are concerned.
Mm.
In fact, now that you think about it, that's exactly what Yulia was trying to do.
Mm.
So it's like, oh.
Right. Hold on a moment. And she will, in one of her two bags, she will find, I'll roll for that. One moment. If it's a plus, it's something fairly normal. It is a minus. Okay. She pulls out a bra that is purple.
That's actually relatively normal, but that's perfectly fine. That's perfectly.
No, but that would have been like a telephone cover or something like other than that. It seems she begins to dig through her bag and she's just like, fuck, give me a put it in. And you'll become a bit of a curse or two in Russian.
Mhm.
She's packing up some things and then just like, takes the bra and just shoves it and just
And the guy just kind of gives you a very odd look, but then he kind of like slowly nods his head. Okay, ma'am, just one moment. And he slides the slidey peephole backwards. For a few seconds, you hear like these clicks and clanks of these door of you presume to be the locks and the ratchets and everything being unlocked before the door is pulled open, and the guy on the other side is at least 6'4" and about. Do you work in kilos?
yes, I do.
Yeah, he's got to be at least like 120 kilos, if not more. Yeah, pretty. Your regular, heavy set bouncer, and he kind of opens the door for you, and you can see that his eye line is like, if you'd just like to go by the bar, I'll contact Miss Jade and Miss Lotus.
Okay, it's thank you. And Natalia will go straight to the bar and just plug her two bags and just she won't do anything. She'll just sit and wait. When there's a lot of people around, when she hasn't got really like a distinct goal, she seems a little restless or a little on edge, shall we say.
Yeah.
That would probably be something you could see, but
Yeah. This club, well, when you get into the club, you start to realize that this place, it isn't like any other club that you've been in before, and that's not, I'm not saying that lightly. This place has an air about it. This place, if you had to put words to it, the inside is almost labyrinth-like. You have a long stretch of a maze-like stretch of corridors, each of which leads to these. Each corridor leads to these rooms, situated right next to each other. The lighting in the club is soft, darkened, gives everything a very reddish hue about it, and the smell in the air, has this kind of like sickly sweet incense. For reasons unclear to you, you feel this smell it makes it difficult for you to contain your beast, you would see. Like your beast seems to jump, it's excited by the presence of being in the presence of this smell. In each of the rooms, as you pass them, you see people having heated discussions in English and in French. You see some people having, shall we say, heavy petting sessions, or sometimes a little bit more graphic. You see some people indulging in any number of narcotics or alcoholic beverages. And then when you get to the bar itself, it seems to be built into the wall of one of these corridors. In fact, if it hadn't been there, you probably would have walked straight past it. There's a set of like these chairs which are like fixed into the floor. And the bartender is this rather pretty boy looking guy who looks probably more like a male stripper than he does a barman proper. And as soon as he regards you, he kind of like gives you a very quaint smile. Good evening, ma'am. What can I get you?
she looks at him, just nothing right now. I'm waiting for something.
Oh, okay. Call me if you need me. He goes off to start serving the other patrons. Though it's not too. He doesn't have to wait very long until he gets like a phone call on the phone by the bar. And he picks up the phone. He starts to talk down the other end of the line in fluent French before he kind of like looks in your general direction. Ma'am, were you here waiting for Miss Jade and Miss Lotus?
Yes, I was.
All right. They've just told me you can go up to to their office. You just need to go down the corridor, like around there, and he points in the general direction that you need to go. Just go up the stairs and knock on the door, and they'll let you right in.
Thinks. She just nods, picks up her bags, and heads upstairs.
Okay. The stairs way which leads to this doorway, it feels almost claustrophobic, but when you actually get to the door, this heavy set secure door, which is even more, seemingly reinforced and, padded and barricaded than the one that you just walked into this club. The door itself seems to have like an outline of these rather esoteric looking symbols which seemingly defy any meaning. So, and I'm presuming that you knock on the door and
Yeah, she does. Dahlia's getting a little bit more stiff, a little bit more clamped up, a little bit more nervous, some would say.
Mhm.
It's not too bad, but she doesn't seem as comfortable now.
Outside of the pulsating trance music coming from downstairs, the only sound that you hear is the sound of these clicky clank of heels on the floor, seemingly coming from the other side of this door. You hear clicks, you hear clanks, you hear the rotation of some kind of ratchet and anything else, everything that you heard when you went into this club. And the door opens and you see this kind of antechamber. It's kind of like in this picture here. And in this antechamber, well, the first person that you see is the woman who opens up the door. She's Asian, about 5, wearing this like flowing crimson kimono, like evening wear. She's adorned with gold, silver, jade-colored jewelry, earrings, necklaces. The other lady, a blonde woman, early 20s. She's sat on the couch, wearing this jet black corset. You can tell just by the color of their skins that they're quite comfortable with what they are. And the Asian lady, she looks at you and she simply smiles. Hello, sister. So glad that we have a new visitor. Please, come in so we can more formally introduce ourselves.
Thank you. I forgot before. This is my clan role because these are some very, very beautiful people.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Wait, hang on. Did you just roll self-control?
No, to not get Toreador.
Hang on. Here's the thing about Toreador and Tribu. They don't have the same floor as the Toreador main clan.
Oh, I did not know that, actually.
Yes, they did. It's not a case of, I mean, depending on which edition, we're going through V20 edition here, so you don't have to roll self-control to be awestruck by beauty, but you do have to roll self-control to stop yourself from causing pain to people when presented with the opportunity.
Okay.
Whether this be, torturing a captive, or, utterly destroying the aspirations of a prospective prodigy.
Fair enough.
It's a cultural thing, I've noticed. But yeah. Creamy Jade, who seems to have this frightening bearing about herself. Every move that she makes seems to, if it weren't for the fact that, you're already under a lot of pressure, and you're already under a lot of, anxiety. But it almost feels that if Creamy Jade wanted to, she could make you do what she wanted you to do, without even having to use any disciplines, it seems. Maybe in your imagination, anyway. But she gestures into the antechamber, gestures to one of the seats in the antechamber, as it were. And when you walk in, You notice that the walls are adorned with these different pictures. They look like modern art in a lot of ways, but you have this just have a slight glimpse of them does like evoke a slight emotion in you. One of them makes you feel lustful, another one makes you feel lazy, another one makes you feel wrathful. Only for a split second, and only because you had a slight glimpse at it. But it's enough to take notice. And Creamy Jade shuts the door behind you, lets you take a seat before she walks in this kind of predatory semicircle around the room before taking a seat next to the blonde-haired woman. I think formal introductions are necessary first. My name is Creamy Jade. My associate here is the Black Lotus. We are the Widows. Pleasure to meet you.
A pleasure to meet you. I've only very recently gotten to this great city, and well, I need some place to start. Introduce myself, prove myself. So I thought this was a good place to start.
Well, you could have chosen worse places. But it does seem that we are the Canaanites who seem to have the most visitors. We hope that it makes others exceedingly jealous. Nevertheless, now that you're here, what's your name again?
My name is Natalia.
Natalia. Russian, would I say?
Quite so, yes. I wasn't. Well, my parents were Russian, I moved to the U.S. Quite early in life, but it was yeah, right. Well, a Russian American. Well,
Territories change, governments change, but language always stays the same. You're not the first Russian that we've met recently, but I'm sure that you'll encounter that interesting individual all the more soon.
I think I already have.
Oh,
Tanya? Yeah, like silver hair, quite you know, quite the catch for a young guy, also Russian.
this wasn't who we were talking about, but we do know of that one. Such a lost little soul. Uh, they'll come round eventually.
Well, who are you thinking of?
Ah, a Moscow native. His name, well, he likes to go by the name Kolya. He's well, he's helping us upgrade our computer systems here in exchange for a roof over his head. He's not in at the moment, but I could be convinced to give him your name if you are so interested.
Might be. Um, what do you know? What the client is from?
He is a pander.
Oh, okay.
Not that that really matters, after all. All Canaanites who hear the truth are equally deserving of respect.
Quite so.
Now, tell me, child, you came here with the intent of learning about the city as residents' plans for the city, but do you feel that you're prepared to hear some of the God-honest truth from us? Some of the gospel, the wisdom of the widows?
I'm, I'm quite sure that you have quite a lot of wisdom to give, but I'm quite certain that this is not wisdom that comes without proof of what's worth, or am I mistaken?
Wisdom is found by those who search for it. Those who dismiss wisdom will be cast by the wayside. We have always believed that our purpose as Cainites is to be as God's dark angels upon the earth, to be his jailers, to be his torturers. This world is a prison, and the Cain are its prisoners. Our duty is to separate the chaff from the grain, tempt them, coax them. If the world is a festering tumor, we feed that tumor, so that those who are worthy may ascend, and those who are unworthy may be cast down and continue to come back and continue the cycle. We are nothing if not upfront about what our church stands for. And you'll find few in this city who have as much spiritual authority as we do. Our writings, our teachings are followed by hundreds, thousands of Cain's soldiers throughout the world. But in time, perhaps, you'll understand, or you'll choose another path.
Well, I'm still quite, well, very young, so you know, you're quite right. It will take some time.
Well, we are all here for the long run, and we have nothing but time. We have entertained the audiences of many, many Cainites in the city, and all of them have had truly wonderful conversations with us regarding our purpose and the details, the wisdom that we can give with regards to our own path, and more. So, the one thing which, well, if there's anything that we should tell you about the city so far, is where to find the Black Cathedral. You can find it underground in the sewer system, in the old mausoleum. Did you know at one point there was a cholera epidemic in Montreal, many hundreds of years ago? These mausoleums were created to house the dead bodies. In the Sabbat, when these mausoleums were no longer used, we converted it into a monument to Cain, the Dark Father, praising. So, it's not too difficult to find when you know what you're looking for.
I see. I thank you very much for it. Yes. So, is there anything else? She looks around and just for a moment, she just looks around. She says, "Really have to. I think I have to. You know, do I report in or something? Or I mean, I don't really know how this works."
There's no real, there is no real system. As long as you're available, as long as you report that you're available to fight, available to participate. In fact, now that we mention it, there is a pack out there that is searching for other members, and I do believe you would be very suited towards. They formed together to combat a very real threat to the pending crusade. I'm sure you've heard the news, I hope, about the spike in HIV cases.
Yes.
We ourselves have taken a vested interest in this. The widow's duty in Montreal is to cultivate the kind and to procure armaments, luxuries, food, vitae for the city of Montreal. Something like this, spoiling the food supply. That's something which really, really concerns us. So, we partitioned the Canaanites that we had met to form together and to destroy these plague bearers. We've had a great deal of success at that. We've destroyed 3 of them so far. There is more of them out there. This group.
Sorry, but you make it sound like someone, that it wasn't just someone who came, but it was someone who was planted here.
We don't know thus far. The details that we have are limited. When we destroyed the last plague bearer that we destroyed, they were Malkavian. They spoke of a sister, as in a brood sister. This leads us to believe that it's very likely that these plague bearers were once a loyal pack, perhaps. Or it's an individual others to spread this plague.
And in that regard, it's quite a real threat. Do you know where I can find these people, this pack?
I can give you their names, and I do think that the Black Cathedral would be the first place to start. The first is their erstwhile priest, Brother Samuel Diomedes. He's a Shamisi. The other, Zubida Alessandra, from the Arab world. And then there's Mr. Giles Clark, another Alessandra. A very interesting one, we find. They're interested in finding others, and I do presume that they will find them. Perhaps they'll find you, or you'll find...
Yeah, I'll try to find them tonight. But yeah, thanks for all the info. So you're around here normally?
This is our place of business. This is our meeting place. This is our church.
All right. I mean, it's my kind of church. She looks around again, just nods. And then she will just I really need to get going, but thanks for the audience. Or yes, yeah. That's yes, audience.
You're most welcome, Sister Natalia. We do hope that you'll pay us a visit again
Oh, I
sometime
will.
soon.
I will. Um, is the bartender off limits or?
He is Black Lotus's property.
Okay.
But the the bouncer, the doorman that you met, that's Jean Claude. He's my property. He is a thorough degenerate when you really get down to it. But he won't tell you that. But
Natalia,
if you wish to feed in this club, feel free. We make sure that each and every one of the kind in here are clean from disease.
yeah, okay. Yeah, I appreciate it. And Natalia takes her bags and nods to them, and bids farewell. A bit clunky, maybe. It's not the most graceful, like overly polite or following all the etiquettes, but she does say goodbye and leaves.
Okay.
And she will try, if there's time, she will try to find the Black Cathedral.
hmm I think I'll give that to you. It takes a fair while to actually find this because you have to go underground.
Mm.
But eventually, after maybe like 2 hours of searching, you do find this trail of halogen lights in this like hidden antechamber. Sorry, this hidden corridor, should I say. And you follow it and you head to this large set of double doors, which when you open it, you find the fabled Black Cathedral of Montreal. It's huge.
Natalia will actually go, walk around a bit, study it just for herself. Just take in the majesty of it.
Yeah. There is an honor guard there. Vampires, ghouls, revenants, you're not quite sure. They're wearing kind of a very dark version of the uniform of the Swiss Guard. All of them are
Hmm.
armed. This whole cathedral, well, the ceiling has this kind of Sistine Chapel-like depiction of Gehenna, vampires rising from the ground, you know, gorging themselves in the blood of the living and their children alike. You see statues of famed vampires of old, demons. This place obviously was a mausoleum at one point, but was converted. And yeah. And there's a throne to the Archbishop at the far end, another set of double doors on the other end, which seems to lead to a place called the Chapel of Cain.
Hmm. Is it possible to speak to the guard? Will they even respond?
Yeah, they'll respond. What would you like to ask them?
She will just ask if they've seen some of the names, like Giles and some of the names she was just given.
Well, they say that they have been here before, but they're not here present. They do recommend, however, that you come to one of the services. They definitely recommend the Sermons of Cain by Inquisitor Spiedemann. They also recommend perhaps speaking with the Archbishop's Templar Jean Daniel at some point.
Hmm. She'll just say thanks and come with some comment like happy guard something, and then walk off.
Okay.
She won't barge into the chapel. She knows that's probably not necessarily the smartest thing to do.
Yeah.
So she will just see if she can find maybe the Templar, maybe some of the others. Who knows? Maybe someone from the pack is there. If she just looks, but she will just have a sightseeing tour. She'll also have a look at the watch to see when she has to begin to get home.
nobody else is here except for the honor guard. You must have caught. It must be a bad time, or maybe they're doing preparations elsewhere. But when you look
Yeah.
at the clock, you realize that, yeah, you've spent a lot of time doing this
Also
stuff.
finding it, at least.
Yeah.
So yeah,
They
Natalia
do.
will.
Yeah, the honor guard do mention that around the Black Cathedral there are crypts and other things used primarily for this place is basically a communal haven for the entire Sabbat if necessary.
Oh, well, she will actually think of that. She will probably find a place to sleep there then.
Okay. Well then, unless there's anything else that you'd like to do, I think we can call this a scene.
Yep. All right. I will end the scene.
All right.